It's been a day of weird and wild weather, including record high temperatures and a state of emergency from flooding.
Firefighters are confident they have a blaze in the Mackenzie country contained. The bushfire was fed by northwesterly gales just north of Twizel. Now, the same area is awaiting the arrival of a southerly storm that'll bring heavy snow. Meanwhile, a state of emergency was declared in Gore after heavy rain. Keisha Brownlee has the details.
A raging inferno that broke out yesterday and burned through the night.
That's been an unprecedented fire because of the fire behaviour. I was talking to a couple of colleagues that have been to a lot of rural fires and they can't believe the actual fire behaviour. The winds are swirling all around, so not predictable whatsoever.
Violent waves in the topaz waters of Lake Pukaki, an indication of how strong these winds are. Smoke billowing across the water's surface, ash raining on tourists. As 80 firefighters battled the growing blaze, the fuel of tussock and wilding pines encouraged by warm winds fanning the flames through 165 hectares with a perimeter of 17 kilometres.
Made me a bit anxious. It's not overly settling to see huge flames.
People from 6 properties fled their homes in the night.
They're staying here in Twizel, and I believe that they'll be here for another night at least.
6 helicopters set off at first light using monsoon buckets to contain the flames.
We hit it really hard this morning because the weather conditions were in our favour.
Until the wind ramped up again. You can see how much of the land this fire has burnt through already, and it's not out yet. Strong winds are buffeting the area and they're changing direction every minute, making fire crews' jobs that much harder. Fire crews have managed to keep the flames away from properties. Lessons from a fire in the exact same place 2 years ago.
So they've cut down trees that are close to their buildings, have nice manicured grass and whatnot so that the fire can get there and stop. It's a natural fire break.
Reinforcement is on the way in the form of a bitter southerly that's threatening heavy snow throughout the Mackenzie Basin within the next 24 hours. The wintry blast has already left Gore under a state of emergency as surface flooding began to rise. The cold snap is chasing warm northwesterly winds up the South Island, but the high temperatures will hold on in the north. Today, Gisborne Airport reached 26.6 degrees, smashing its September record. The early summer delighting locals and growers of the region's famous crops.
For this time of year, we get the odd hot day, but nothing like we've had 3 days in a row now.
The warm start to spring can come at a cost, helping to dry out vegetation up and down the country, as the Mackenzie knows too well.
We're shaping up for a big fire season.
And it's barely begun.
Keisha joins us now from Twizel. Keisha, do they know how the fire started?
Well, Fire and Emergency New Zealand says they've spoken to the people who called in the fire, so they've got a good idea of where it started. How it started, though, is still under investigation. The air here is still thick with smoke and ash is still raining down. It's still incredibly windy here, but in just the last half an hour, that temperature has dropped significantly. There are dark clouds above us and has just started to spit. It's also meant to snow, but fire crews say that snow won't necessarily put the fire out. It can still smoulder away even underneath the snow. So tonight, a long night ahead for crews as they work around the clock in the wind, the rain and potentially even snow as they try to keep this blaze under control.
Keisha Brownlee live from Twizel, Tēnā koe.
Well, Heather is here now with more on the weather and just how much rain fell in the south today.
Well, Gore received 78 millimetres in only 12 hours. That was the deluge that came with thunderstorms. Lake Manapōuri received 346 millimetres in the last 24 hours. And it's all thanks to this front here. It's slow, it's very active, and it still has more to give. Like Keisha said, snow is the next thing, and an orange heavy snow warning has been issued. I'll have all the details after sport.
OK, see you then. Thanks, Heather.